Hey there, Mr. Terry here. Welcome back to another History Teacher Reacts video. All right, if you're watching this video, you obviously know Mr. Beast is, but apparently he's been getting into some hot water. And as somebody who wants to keep growing on YouTube, I hope I can learn from the successes of Mr. Beast, and in this case, hopefully learn from the mistakes. So today we're checking out LegalEagle's video about the drama and things going on with him. So let's check this out together. Help me out with my questions down below in the comment section. And I'd love it if you liked my video and subbed if you liked what you see here. All right, let's get started. All right, let me preface this with what I think I've heard thus far. I heard that he had a staff member that had gotten in trouble. I think was dealing with some underage issues, but something to do with, I think, like contests or giveaways. I don't exactly know more than that. So I'm hoping to learn from this and then give you my perspective again as a YouTuber, obviously nowhere in the stratosphere of Mr. Beast, but you know, I think these are things I should be taking note of when you talk about what the biggest YouTuber that there is. Here we go.
Trouble in Beastland? Mr. Beast is facing controversy on several different fronts, and all this comes at a terrible time, right when Amazon is investing potentially hundreds of millions of dollars into the Beast games, which is facing its own controversy. Now, a lot of this is outside of my field.
Wait, what?
But games, which is facing its own controversy.
He's doing a game show?
Now, a lot of this is outside
like every
of my
video
field,
is a game
but
show.
people are claiming that Mr. Beast broke the law, and that is my bat signal, or eagle signal. From Feastables to the Beast games, he can do it all. Or can he? An ex-employee is making waves by claiming that everything about Mr. Beast's empire is fake.
If what we did was scripted,
Really?
Holy shit, this stuff would be easy to pump out.
Have you ever faked a video?
No.
But this train track is CGI, these bus wheels are CGI, this explosion is fake, this shredder is CGI.
Wait. Who's this guy? Are there people like coming out? Like, is this just like video investigators? Are these like people on the inside coming out with this?
This car is digitally lifted, this pit is fake, this guy is fake, this raccoon is a paid actor.
And it doesn't stop there. There are claims that Mr. Beast's frequent giveaways are actually illegal lotteries, and that Mr. Beast's contests run afoul of federal anti-rigging laws. And looking at the other side, the ex-employee may have signed a non-disclosure agreement, which he might be violating by producing his videos. Is he going to be in trouble too? Well, to understand all this, you have to understand who Mr. Beast is and what a Mr. Beast video is. Well, Mr. Beast, whose real name is Jimmy Donaldson, is known for his elaborate and philanthropic videos. His videos often feature massive challenges, expensive stunts, and big giveaways. Mr. Beast has over 300 million subscribers, and he's expanded his empire to candy bars and to cheeseburgers, and will soon host a game show on Amazon Prime.
Jeez.
And now,
I mean, he's a businessman, like what he's expanded there. Now, from what I remember, I don't really watch a lot of Mr. Beast anymore. There was a time I was into it, but then it all kind of just started running together because every video was just like the same. Either they were giving something away or just doing some like weird stunt for money. It kind of got like repetitious for me. But what I've understood about his business model, which ended up being pretty amazing, was, for at least from what I heard, like he would put this money into videos. And I think he started with gaming, right? Is that right? But we'd put money into these videos, and the videos would do pretty well because it's very like Gen Z Zoomer, like perfect type of content for that. It's true. It's phenomenal for this time and this place right now. But then would put money into the next video, like all of it would go into the next one. So it would make hundreds of thousands of dollars or something, and then use that as like the prize for the next video. And like, that was his whole legacy from what I had heard, is all the money he made from his videos, like the views, would go into future videos. And then I guess what sponsorships or what actually like paid him. Is that stuff right? Let me know down below. I want to learn from
now
this.
an ex-employee claims that Mr. Beast fakes his videos and runs illegal lotteries. The man, who goes by Dogpack404 on Twitter, alleged that Mr. Beast's company engaged in fake giveaways, rigged videos, ran illegal lotteries, and sold fake signatures. Though according to Chucky Appleby, who runs Mr. Beast's Ideas and Thumbnails team, the man worked for Mr. Beast for less than a month before he was fired for erratic behavior. But the former worker started a YouTube channel and produced a video alleging that Mr. Beast runs illegal lotteries.
And obviously, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm just going to show you the law and then show you irrefutable evidence of what's being done.
Is that him?
You can make your own conclusions.
Oh, that is him.
The FTC defines a lottery as containing 3 elements.
And here he's mostly correct about the legal elements of a lottery. This varies state by state, but most jurisdictions define a lottery as having 3 elements: consideration, which is payment to participate; a prize, which must be something of value; and chance, which means that the winner is determined by luck. If all
Now, of course, I don't want to break any rules too. I've done some giveaways. I've done some contests. Usually, like, it's been like a contest that had like, judges where we're judging art. Like we just barely had a flag making competition on my channel, but we've done that, or like give away a Mr. Terry history shirt or something like that. But like, where does it cross into
3 of these elements are present and the lottery is not regulated, it is likely illegal.
But like, well, I guess that wasn't a giveaway. Like he's saying number 3 chance. The winner is determined by luck. Oh, that's for a lottery. Okay, so like I was saying, I was doing a contest. I don't think I've done anything where it's supposed to be like a random person that gets it. I know there's merch companies and stuff that will have something like that where you could like, I think the one I use right now might even have one, or I've used in the past, where it's like it'll look at your subscriber list and then just like push a button. It's supposed to randomize the person. Is that not what he's doing here?
Present and the lottery is not regulated, it is likely illegal, because lotteries in the United States are exclusively run by the government. Now, this is in contrast to what I'll generally call a contest, which is not based on chance so much as skill or intellect. And that's why it's generally legal to have a prize for a contest, even when there's an entry fee, because it's not based on chance and therefore does not constitute a lottery. Lotteries are distinct from sweepstakes and raffles, which are illegal. Sweepstakes are games where a person is chosen randomly to win a prize, and sweepstakes participants do not give consideration to enter. Now, we'll talk more about this in a second, but the reason a sweepstakes is generally allowable in the context of buying something to enter is that there is an option to enter the same sweepstakes without a purchase.
Wait, so it's illegal to charge to be in a lottery? Isn't that literally what a lottery is and how they make money in a lottery? So you're saying no purchase necessary. Is that for skill-based ones? Is that one like if it's skill-based, what they don't want people to have to pay?
Necessary. And a raffle is an activity in which people buy tickets with different numbers, some of which are later chosen to win prizes, that's organized in order to make money for a good social purpose. And raffles are generally only legal when they're conducted by non-profits. So let's go back to the video that people are claiming is an illegal lottery.
Yeah, so what do you do?
During a 2020 live stream, the Mr. Beast crew sold limited edition t-shirts that cost $42. The sign in the background says, "Buy a shirt and I'll sign it."
For those of you who are just joining, if you buy one of our limited edition 40 mil special shirts, we're celebrating 40 million subscribers with a really big video, then we will sign that shirt, and some of them will get random prizes like this.
So
I forgot who the other kid, the kid to our left, Mr. Beast right. Did he leave the show too? The kid that's touching his hand like that? The other one's Carl, right? I think I know Carl from other stuff, but yeah. Our left, Mr. Beast right. Did he leave too? Was he one that was like getting away of drama or whatever? I don't know.
So the parameters of the offer were that a fan buys an autographed t-shirt and they get the possibility of winning a prize. The winners were supposed to be chosen randomly at different intervals, but Mr. Beast changed the rules of the giveaway midstream.
They would say something like, buy in the next 5 minutes for a chance to win. And then 7 minutes later go, actually, the newest order in 30 seconds is going to win.
Dogpack says that during the 6-hour live stream, Mr. Beast offered 46 with a retail value of over $47,000. Now, typically when you review the terms and conditions of giveaway like this one, the first disclaimer you'll see is the statement, "No purchase necessary." That's how you get around the lottery rules. You offer people a way to participate in the sweepstakes without having to purchase anything. Now, Mr. Beast's 6-hour live streams look a little sloppy. They're not like the Mr. Beast videos of today. The full video isn't available anymore, so we don't know whether there was a disclaimer in the video or in the description. But it does look like a purchase was required and there was no free way to enter. So in some jurisdictions, Mr. Beast probably would have been.
So it's not illegal, though, to do like, hey, if you buy a shirt, you're also going to be entered into a competition or like a drawing, right? Like, that happens all the time, right? You buy and then you do it. But I could see where it was dirty, where he was like, okay, if you buy one in the next 5 minutes, you'll be in it. But then it's like, no, actually, it'll come from the people in the next 30 seconds. Yeah, you can't do that. But buying something to be and then be entered into it, like you get a product and then, enter into something's not bad.
Been running an illegal lottery. And if true, he probably wouldn't be alone. This was frankly common on YouTube back in the day. And it's also common for YouTubers to get legal advice later after they become more successful. Remember, kids, talk to your lawyer early and often. We can often save you a ton of headache in the future. But not offering a free method of participation is a pitfall that I've seen a lot of YouTubers do when it comes to giveaways or bonuses. It's so common, in fact, that a very large YouTuber, Captain Sparkles, even admitted to doing the same thing while he was talking about this Mr. Beast situation.
Captain Sparkles?
I don't know admit to something here that may be past the statute of limitations, but the way that I found out about illegal lotteries to begin with is because I accidentally did one.
If it were me, even if it were super common, I would not admit to breaking the law.
Self-report, dude. Self-report. You don't want to do that. You got away with it. You got to just keep going. I mean, I guess I did learn that to literally LegalEagle pro tip. Don't admit to breaking the law. So I guess if I did that somehow on my channel, I got to just shut up and not talk about it. What do you think would make it worse if you like delete all evidence of you doing that illegal thing, or just leave it alone? Is the absence of it louder than just ignoring it? You know what I mean?
Camera. But, you do you. That's more work for lawyers in the future. And a lot of private companies have gotten in trouble for doing the same kind of giveaway. The Department of Justice concluded that the Ironman Triathlon organization conducted an illegal lottery by charging athletes $50 for a chance to compete in its world championship. So the World Triathlon Corp, which runs Ironman, also encouraged people to pay an additional $50 to purchase memberships in a club that would increase their chances of getting into the championship race.
Okay, so is that different than, let's say, okay, you're having a race, like these people are having a race. There's a $50 entrance fee, okay, to enter this marathon or whatever. But you're like, hey, the top 10 people get to go to like this championship race. That doesn't seem like it'd be something illegal, right?
They didn't offer a refund to people whose entries weren't chosen and gave them no future credit towards registration for those that were chosen. And the company ran this promotion for decades, between 1983 and 2015. But as a result, the company agreed to forfeit the $2.76 million that they had collected and cease the lottery practice, though it denied any wrongdoing. Now, there is one more interesting wrinkle when it comes to Mr. Beast potentially engaging in an illegal lottery. Now, we talked about the different elements of a lottery. You have to have the element of chance, there has to be a prize, but also the people looking to participate in the lottery have to offer consideration. Now, consideration for the purposes of lotteries is often construed narrowly. It does not need to include money. If a person has to make an effort to register, this can constitute consideration under the law. So for example, if you pay $42 for a t-shirt in exchange for the chance to win a prize, you've definitely provided consideration. And likewise, if you have to complete a long survey or make several trips to the store, many regulatory authorities also say that you've made a significant effort to get into a lottery. But not everything qualifies as consideration. If you mail a postcard to enter into a contest, the 50-cent postage does not count as consideration in most jurisdictions. So in another
when I was a kid growing up, and like so many TV shows I would watch like as a kid would have something like that. Like there'd be like, hey, mail in a self-addressed envelope to this PBS show. I don't know if it was PBS, but like this show, it'd be like the Ninja Turtles, and you can get something back, like, win something.
Mr. Beast giveaways, that was common. Count as consideration in most jurisdictions. So in another one of Mr. Beast giveaways, he purchased 1,000 Samsung phones and gave them away randomly to people who subscribed to his channel. Now, whether this is an illegal lottery or a legal sweepstakes depends on whether the state law construes subscribing to the channel as consideration. Now, in North Carolina, where Mr. Beast is based,
that's illegal? That's illegal, what he was doing? People do that all the time, give stuff away to random subscribers, right? Or I'll see a lot of people to engage, YouTubers to engage, to increase engagement will be like, I'm going to give somebody a free shirt, a random person that puts a comment to this video, and like, you'll get a free shirt. It drives engagement, but that's fine, right? Is that because you told them beforehand?
It includes a purchase, payment, consideration. Now, in North Carolina, where Mr. Beast is based, if the promotion includes a purchase, payment, or substantial effort, and it's a game of chance resulting in a prize, then it's likely an illegal lottery. If it's non-monetary consideration, the person would have to make a, quote, substantial degree of effort for it to be considered consideration. In the past, substantial effort examples include attending an all-day sales presentation or going to a scavenger hunt. But simply watching a TV program or visiting a location one time was not considered substantial effort in North Carolina. So I could definitely see a North Carolina court saying that simply pressing the subscribe button does not qualify as a substantial effort necessary to make it consideration. Now, what makes this situation even more complicated is that sometimes Mr. Beast's videos contain both a contest and a sweepstakes. So take, for example, the video 100 Boys versus 100 Girls for $500,000. Here are the rules.
I built 2 massive circles and put 100 boys in one and 100 girls in the other. And whichever circle has more people after 100 hours wins $500,000.
So if any player steps on the red line, they're eliminated from the game. And during the 100 hours, Mr. Beast tempted the players with various offers like...
Those are, by the way, those were the videos that I got sick of and I stopped watching Mr. Beast, was that stuff. Like, last person to take their hand off the car wins the car, you know what I mean? Or like, the standing in a circle. I feel like he did a lot of that. And I remember that was like every video for a while. Maybe it's a lot different now, but I remember being like, all right, I've seen one, I've seen them all.
the guy's $10,000 for solving a Rubik's Cube.
We're gonna offer the one guy in there that knows how to solve them $10,000 to leave right now.
He also offered the girls a free car if they agreed to leave.
If Chris scratches it, it's coming with it. You don't have to get out, but whenever you do, your brand new car's right there.
Now that video was sponsored by a company called Current, and that company offered a separate sweepstakes. Now it looks like by the time of this video, which comes 2 years later, Mr. Beast either lawyered up or learned his lesson, because it seems like he knew what he was doing in this particular video, because this video allows participation in the sweepstakes without purchase. The description reads, "No purchase or payment necessary to enter or win. Void outside the US and where prohibited, etc., more legalese." So the contestants, the viewers, did not have to join Current, the video sponsor, to enter into that particular sweepstakes. It links to other terms and conditions, and people had an opportunity to review the official rules to determine how the prize would be allocated.
Right now, it feels like, because I know there's going to be more info, but it seems like there's these gray areas, I guess, or at the very least, it would be very easy to mix up these different rules for like a lottery versus a sweepstake versus like a competition. That'd be very easy to actually mess this up from a legal perspective, unless I'm just not getting the cut and dry of this.
So it looks like sometime in the last 4 years, Mr. Beast got his act together and started complying with anti-lottery rules. Now, obviously, if you're running an illegal lottery, you'll want a good lawyer. But if you want a great lawyer, my law firm...
The only thing I've seen that feels super dirty thus far,
if you got a letter saying that your social security number had been leaked, if you were involved in a car crash or have an immigration
issue,
or
change the rules,
we can represent you or help find you the right attorney.
These other ones, I don't
talk to a lawyer right away, so you maximize your recovery and find out what your options are. So just click on the link in the description or call the phone number on screen for a free consultation with my team. Because you don't just need a legal team, you need the Eagle team. So click on the link below. But many are conflating
how well his
video
firm
of
does.
Mr. Beast offering a prize.
Like, I wonder how well the legal firm does versus what like the success he has on YouTube, especially like monetarily. All right, contest for sweepstake. Okay, this is where I think I'll have some of my questions answered.
Buying a t-shirt, which arguably does constitute a lottery, with all Mr. Beast videos that happen to involve prizes in general. But these are very different situations, and the analysis is different too. Mr. Beast is known for giving subscribers a chance to take part in his videos, and Dogpack takes issue with this, arguing that, quote,
"So yeah, the random subscribers you see in challenges are actually never random. They're almost always local to Mr. Beast, and oftentimes friends and family of Mr. Beast employees, or just the employees themselves."
Okay, so that is an obvious, from what I know, sleazy thing to do is if he's actually handpicking them, especially if he believed that, because they usually will film the video, like film giving the person the prize, right? And you would think that, you know, giving it to specific people you pick out. I mean, he was saying family and other coworkers. Yeah, that would be kind of messed up too. But like, even just like the fact of you have these random people and you look at their backstories and you learn about them and be like, that person specifically would make for better content in the video. Like, versus, you know, this person has this horrible backstory and could really use this money. You know what I mean? Versus somebody that, whatever, doesn't really need it. But it was supposed to be random, but it would make for better content if like one specific person got it. That is something that very much I'm like, okay, that's bad.
And he highlighted some specific videos he says backs up his claims, specifically the video Boys vs. Girls for $500,000. He says the whole thing was rigged because the contestants weren't random subscribers.
Right.
Let's look at this video. Not only were the results of this video completely scripted, but the contestants are not random subscribers.
So many people had jobs.
Oh, that contestant had to get out for her job? I guess you forgot she's your hiring manager. I actually recognize a lot of people in this video, including Jimmy's own girlfriend.
Did he say it was random people?
Some of the players were friends or employees.
Did he say it was random
Quote,
people?
The employees in the video were there to fill in for people who tested positive for COVID last minute right before filming. Thea, Jimmy's girlfriend, mentioned this on a podcast over a year ago. If it wasn't for COVID, they would not have been in it. They had the same money on the line as everyone else. And Dogpack also said that he received text messages from another Beast worker who said they
That's where I wonder if, what if they did that? Okay, so some people had to drop out that were randomly chosen. 100 people randomly chosen. 5 had to drop out from each team, let's say, for COVID, and you just bring in 5 stand-ins that were not randomly chosen. Would it still be legal if, let's say, they participated, but they weren't allowed to win?
rigged the game so that the boys didn't win by so much.
According to a former MrBeast employee, it would have been a PR problem if the boys had won by a lot. And because so many of the female contestants were MrBeast employees who got out immediately, production stepped in to actually make the results of the challenge closer.
Now, there's absolutely nothing illegal about using friends or acquaintances in your videos. And it doesn't necessarily follow that just because MrBeast might have known some of the people who appeared in his videos that he rigged the videos in their favor. Now, your mileage may vary as to whether it's a good or bad.
What if he never said that they were random? What if he was just like, this is just 100 people and this is just 100 people? Like, isn't that fine? But is it the fact that you set it up by like entering a contest and then it was randomly selected? That would obviously be a line, I would think.
Friends in videos where there's money.
Sorry, I might be talking too much.
Now, arguably, you might conclude that if the video makes it appear that every contestant is random, and it turns out that that's not the case, then it makes it more likely that the outcome is rigged in their favor.
Yeah.
MrBeast, after all, might want to patronize his friends. But you might also conclude that there is no connection between the identity of the contestants and the outcome. Now, I haven't reviewed every single MrBeast video. I have a life. Personally, I think this is probably closer to the truth, but I can see how people might feel deceived. And as it happens, I happen to know several people who have appeared in MrBeast videos. Again, because he needed someone to fill in at the last second and they happen to be nearby. In fact, you might know them, Dave the Agent and Patrick Willems. And I can tell you, the video was not rigged in their favor at all. They happened to be taking a tour of MrBeast's facilities and got pegged to fill in at the last moment to put an entire GameStop inside of a triangle. They actually succeeded, and they've told me that everyone was shocked that they were able to do it.
Everyone's gotta let go at the same time. 3, 2, 1, everyone let go. Everyone let go. No one touching it? No one. Oh, congratulations!
It was definitely not rigged or predetermined. Now, I can't speak to all MrBeast videos, but in at least one instance where he knew the contestants, the video was certainly not rigged. And I do know that logistically, since many of MrBeast's videos are filmed in his hometown of Greenville, North Carolina, it's often hard to fill all of the spots for his videos. And I also know that MrBeast and his team invest in hundreds or thousands of cameras, producers, and video editors to be able to record and cull through thousands of hours of footage for his videos. And
one of the most interesting people I've heard of, when I went to VidCon a couple years ago, one of his like lead, maybe it is his lead or something, video editor was there. And he's a very interesting dude. He was... couldn't speak off the cuff. He had to pretty much read everything. I forgot his name, but he was brilliant in the stuff that he did. It seemed like he was like an editing robot, but like in human form. And the stuff that he would talk about how literally like every second of like a MrBeast video is completely planned with intent about how it should look and feel and sound. The attention to detail was something that just blew me away. And how long he would talk about how long it would take to make like a 5-second clip of it, all the stuff that went into it, and the trying and experimenting with it and getting it perfect. It absolutely blew my mind and made me feel, obviously with like a video I'm doing here, it's so much lower time, spent to do something like that. It just like blew my mind. And it makes sense with how engaging those videos are. Every single second is meticulously designed to keep you with your eyeballs on the screen.
Feelings that MrBeast will do whatever's possible to make the most engaging and entertaining video possible. But I certainly can't speak to every video he's ever made, nor can I speak to the audience expectations of the videos that he does make. But let's say that the videos were rigged, completely manipulated, and predetermined. Sure. Would that be illegal? Dogpack alleges that MrBeast rigged the game so that the boys didn't win by so much. MrBeast changed the rules or offered different challenges throughout the 100 hours. At one point, he says he
How
wanted
about
to make
this?
the game.
What about carnival games? Carnival games are super rigged. You ever looked at videos and things where people talk about how those games are specifically designed to not be successful, almost near impossible? I wonder, is that illegal somehow? And is that what could be like he's talking about with rigging it, to make it difficult for the boys versus the girls? Or is it different with the carnival games, because everyone is equally no chance at winning?
More competitive by trying to introduce more boys to drop out. And in one sense, duh, this is a MrBeast video. He makes various offers and changes the rules to make things more entertaining. He manipulates the events to add drama, much like any game show where things occur to make things interesting. But here, let's make a distinction. There are the rules as laid out to the contestants before they participate, and the rules as laid out in the video.
Yes,
now, you can imagine that
which are
the
going to be
contract between the contestant and, I don't know, Beast Enterprises lays out certain terms for the relationship. Now, I've never seen one of those contracts. My guess is that it gives Beast Enterprises quite a lot of flexibility to deal with the contestant. But if they breach those terms, then they might be liable for breach of contract, or maybe
Does that
even
ever
fraud.
happen?
And then there are the terms that
They
show
don't
up
ever
in the
sue
final
them?
video after the filming. Those might not be the same. Now, whether you're allowed to change the rules in the video largely depends on how much freedom you have in the rules in your contract with the contestant. Now, remember this because we'll come back to it in a second. Now, following up on the allegations,
it seems like you should be, I mean, you would be able to do whatever you want with the video. Like the final video that comes out doesn't need to look and discuss the rules inside of it, because the viewers are not the contestants. They're not the ones that are invested in it, right? So you can make the video do whatever you want.
YouTuber
you don't even have to put out the video,
claimed that Mr.
probably.
Beast videos are just flat out illegal. For example, Rosanna Pansino was featured in a Mr. Beast competition series called Creator Games, which pits YouTube personalities against each other in games like hide and seek. She claimed that Mr. Beast selectively edited the video to make it appear that she did not finish in the top 3, and instead they made it look like Logan Paul did finish in the top 3.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Despite being mentioned by this alleged former
It doesn't sound like there could be a legal standing with
has a
that.
particularly relevant lawsuit brought forward by a contestant of season 1, where she alleges that producers of the show engaged in a scheme to prearrange outcomes by persuading, influencing, or intimidating contestants.
Okay,
And
well, that's
she
different.
claimed that Mr. Beast changed the rules. Originally, they were told
Yeah,
they
that's
couldn't hide in
different.
the ceiling, but the winner was allowed to hide in the ceiling. Now, Upper Echelon claims that Mr. Beast did exactly the same thing that landed the TV show Survivor in legal hot water.
47 USC 509, which pertains to
Survivor rigged.
prohibited practices in contests of knowledge, skill, or chance.
Now, whether you think it's a good idea to use clever editing or manipulating the rules to change the outcome is not the same thing as necessarily being against the law. But Upper Echelon points to a lawsuit by Season 1 Survivor contestant Stacey Stillman, who was the 3rd person ever voted off the series.
Well, the weather has spoken, and the tribe has spoken.
You know, I remember when the first, was that, it said 2001, when the first Survivor had come out. I had always wondered about that, about how it wasn't like necessarily if the games were rigged, but like how it was presented. Was that actually what it was looked like? You know, how it looked like? Did those contestants actually go through those conditions, which seemed really brutal at that time? Or is right when the camera's off, they go to the buffet table? You know what I mean?
It's time for you to go.
However, she later alleged that the show creator, Mark Burnett, actually orchestrated her demise. She claims that Burnett intervened in the game by convincing 2 of her teammates to vote her off the island rather than a contestant who had been a fan favorite, Rudy Bosch. Bosch was a gruff former Navy SEAL who was quick with one-liners.
The only reason I'd bring a Bible...
I remember that guy.
I mean, I'm religious, too, if I needed toilet paper.
Burnett allegedly believed that Rudy was better for ratings than Stillman, and Bosch later placed 3rd in the game. Stillman is a lawyer, so she sued for fraud, breach of contract, and unlawful business practices in violation of California Business and Professions Code 17200, with the predicate being 47 USC 509. Now, the parties settled
We don't know what that means.
trial, as most lawsuits do. But the interesting thing about Stillman's complaint is that she claimed that Burnett violated 47 USC 509, which is a federal law that regulates contests that are run by TV and radio broadcasters and their sponsors. It says it shall be unlawful for any person with intent to deceive the listening or viewing public to supply any contestant in a purportedly bona fide contest of intellectual knowledge or intellectual skill, any special and secret assistance whereby the outcome of such contest will be in whole or in part prearranged or predetermined.
So it's unlawful for, you know, to with intent to deceive just the listening or viewing public to supply any contestant in a purportedly bona fide contest of intellectual knowledge or an intellectual skill, any special and secret assistance whereby the outcome of such contest will be in whole or part prearranged or predetermined. Oh.
By means of persuasion, bribery, intimidation, or otherwise, to induce or cause any contestant in a purportedly bona fide contest of intellectual knowledge or intellectual skill to refrain in any manner from using or displaying his knowledge or skill in such contest.
You can't deceive the viewers, even if they're not contestants.
Prearranged. Or 3, to engage in any artifice or scheme for the purpose of prearranging or predetermining in whole or in part the outcome of a purportedly bona fide contest of intellectual knowledge, intellectual skill, or chance. This is the basis for the FCC's contest rule, which provides that it's illegal to predetermine or prearrange the outcome of a contest or to broadcast a predetermined or prearranged
But it said the
contest.
viewing public.
It stems from a series of quiz shows in the 1950s that were absolutely rigged. And in fact, there's a great Ray Fiennes movie about this particular situation. But the FCC requires broadcasters to disclose rules and policies applicable to their contests, including the method of entry, eligibility restrictions, entry deadlines, prize restrictions, winner selection procedures, and the value of the prize. And after analyzing this statute, Upper Echelon points to a situation in the Boys vs. Girls video that he claims runs afoul. In particular, he points to a situation where Mr. Beast tried to coax one of the boys who knew how to solve a Rubik's Cube from leaving the contest to make it more fair to the other contestants who did not know how to solve a Rubik's Cube in the Rubik's Cubes challenge.
I can't personally say at what specific point in time a creator who owns a media company that is 10 or 20 times larger and more successful than mainstream broadcast television networks becomes liable under those same rules.
So yeah, seems like manipulation may be in the service of predetermining the outcome. But the FCC does not regulate radio or television that is not broadcast over the airwaves. Its website even says the FCC does not regulate online content. The reason for this is the First Amendment. You're generally allowed to produce whatever kind of TV show you want or YouTube video that you want. It was thought, and still is, that when it came to shows that were broadcast over the air before cable TV or largely the internet, because that was a limited resource, the argument went, the government had more say over what could be broadcast.
Final conclusion. You can do whatever you want on the internet.
That's why there's always been so much more cursing and nudity on HBO and not NBC. HBO has never been regulated by the FCC. It might be hard to believe, but there was a time when there were only a handful, like 3, TV stations, and you needed an antenna to be able to receive.
No, I'm not that old,
Luckily,
but I
we
know
have
about that.
evolved from this barbarity. So Upper Echelon's video incorrectly claims that Mr. Beast's video ran afoul of this law cited in the Stillman complaint, 47 U.S.C. 509. Prohibited practices in contests of knowledge, skill, or chance.
Which deceived the audience, fulfilling basically every single part of this law at one time or another, from what I can tell, in my opinion, to the very letter.
Yeah, that's just wrong. The law does not apply to satellite radio, the internet, or cable. Now, I don't mean to cast aspersions on this YouTuber. He's upfront about the fact that he's not a lawyer, but this is what often makes the law so difficult. You can find something that looks like it applies, but it's wildly out of context and is basically irrelevant. That's why people need lawyers. Now, ironically, a commenter to this video who claims to be a lawyer chimed in to proclaim that, quote, those laws do in fact apply to YouTube as well. I've actually dealt with it personally, and it doesn't end well for the accused. This person later says that they've been a lawyer for all of 7 months and, quote, I've already seen so many cases and it's sick. Now, I saw this and it took a second. Was I wrong? Did I learn nothing in law school? That really doesn't seem accurate in the context of the US. Then I kept reading the comments from this lawyer. It's universal. All the ground need to follow is that it was broadcast live. There are exceptions, but this is pretty clear. At least that's how it stands in Canada.
No one's going to Canada for law advice, okay? No one's going with that. Get out of here, Canada.
Okay. This is why you don't trust randos on the internet, especially when they claim to be lawyers. Absolutely nothing this person says is true. Maybe that's the law in Canada.
Communist Canada out here. Come on, we're free capitalism America. You do whatever you want to make money, okay? Get out of here with that crap.
This law does not apply to YouTubers because they stream over the internet.
Exactly.
It just doesn't apply. And in any event, the Stillman lawsuit settled, so we don't even know how a jury would have found. And it appears that the FCC never even investigated Survivor for the 509 violation based on.
Hey, do you think that, and, by the way, do you think that guy was actually a lawyer too? What are the chances of just that part happening?
I don't want to belabor the point, but arguably the terms of the law might not even apply. It's not clear that the manipulating the activities of a contest would necessarily count as predetermining the outcome. And it's not clear that the various contests or games of skill or intellect that would be covered anyway. And often there's nothing secretive about what Mr. Beast is doing in the video contest. He says what he's going to do, and then he does it. As you probably know, game shows often change the stakes all the time, even on broadcast television. Now, whether any of the contestants have a claim for breach of contract or fraud depends on what was in their contract before they agreed to appear in a Mr. Beast video. Now, I don't know the terms, so I can't say, but I'd be shocked if they didn't give Mr. Beast and Beast Enterprises a huge amount of freedom.
That seems super important right now. Is, you know, even he's saying that they're doing this video, but they've actually never looked at what's in the contract. It seems like what is clearly stated in the contract and then signed by the person is like everything in this case.
Do or not do if Mr. Beast and Beast Enterprises a huge amount of freedom in what they can do or not do during the video. And furthermore, that would be a civil claim of the contestant versus Beast Enterprises. It's not a law that is broken. Maybe it's pedantic, but it's not illegal to breach a contract anyway. Now, ironically, it might be Dogpack 404 who's in hot water.
It has to be persecuted.
Mr. Beast's lawyers have sent two cease and desist letters to the ex-worker. The letters allege that his statements are defamatory and violate his confidentiality and non-disclosure agreement. Now, generally, I hate these kind of strong-arm tactics to silence critics. This is exactly what Logan Paul is currently doing with CoffeeZilla. But the situation might be theoretically different from a legal perspective. This isn't just some critical third party, but a person who was an employee. They had a direct contractual relationship.
I get sketch vibes from Logan Paul. I don't know about you guys with some of this. I know he's done some controversial things, but again, businessman, right?
Beast. So the contract term was an employee. They had a direct contractual relationship with Mr. Beast. So the contract terms will be just as important as the general law on defamation. Now, as you probably know, a non-disclosure agreement, or NDA, is a legal contract between at least two parties that outlines confidential material, knowledge, or information that the parties wish to share with each other for certain purposes, but want to restrict from wider access. The NDA essentially creates a confidential relationship between the parties to protect information covered by the NDA. And usually that's any type of confidential or proprietary information or trade secrets. In this video, YouTuber Some Ordinary Gamer explained the purpose of an NDA.
I hired you at our company, right? And I told you a secret about, something we're doing a month from now, a production that we have coming out in the next 2-3 months. If we hire you to be the editor for that video, and we had told you, hey, don't leak any of this at all. Not a single ounce of footage. We want this for you to edit. We want you to put these videos together, and we want you to, basically have these ready to go up on our actual collaborative channel. If you decided to leak that footage, it would be well within our right to take you to court.
Now, Mudahar is right that a company could sue a person who violated an NDA by disclosing things about that production if those things are within the scope of the NDA. And he's generally right that an NDA cannot compel a person not to disclose a crime. If an NDA attempts to prevent someone from reporting illegal activities, the NDA might be considered void if it violates public policy. However, what constitutes a violation of public policy?
I wonder how much NDA stuff is in those contracts with Mr. Beast. If they were smart, they would do that, because if you have all those people that are contestants, they're first off not going to want to tell them, maybe not just about like what's in the contract for how you make money in it, but like who the winner is, stuff like that would spoil videos that if you knew going into the video, you might not actually watch it, which would hurt their revenue. It'd kind of be like an actor, I assume actors sign NDAs when they do a movie, because think how easily it would be for an actor to spoil the ending of a movie, which would hurt the movie. And that if that gets leaked, nobody's going to watch it.
Vary substantially according to the jurisdiction. Some states have adopted laws that strike non-disclosure provisions, which prohibit employees from disclosing unlawful employment practices such as discrimination, harassment, or fraud. North Carolina, where Mr. Beast is based, has not adopted such a law. The issue really becomes whether Dogpack witnessed anything that would be against public policy in the state that governs the NDA. So while it's true that NDAs generally cannot be used to conceal illegal activities, the person really has to have evidence of at least an illegal activity that would be considered against public policy to have an NDA against. And it doesn't seem like Dogpack has made any statements of witnessing anything firsthand that Mr. Beast did anything that was against the law. And now Mr. Beast's
Here's
lawyers
the thing too, Mr. Beast has a ton of lawyers. Like he's gonna have them for all the stuff that he does. When you have that much money, those many views, you'd be an idiot not to have so many lawyers on retainer. And you would think throughout all of this process, they would tell him, like you can't do stuff this way. It's going to be seen as illegal.
Have sent two.
And if that was the case and it was still legal, then he needs to fire that whole legal team.
Cease and desist letters to Dogpack. He appeared on Oompaville's show and declared that he isn't scared.
How do you feel about that? Do you feel nervous? I would be shitting myself if I were you.
No, I'm not shitting myself.
This dude
now, generally, I would agree. A cease and desist letter doesn't mean anything except the sender wants you to stop. But if he did disclose information, cease and desist letter doesn't.
If I were you.
Okay, so he's talking with this dude. I've seen the guy on the left. I forgot his name. Why is it like it shows the kid's sub count there? If you can blow the video, you know what I'm saying? It says Dogpack 404, the whistleblower here, and then it shows his subscribers. Why did they pull that up? Who put that up there? And what was that supposed to achieve? That he's just trying to like get subscribers? This is just for him to grow like his own channel?
No, I'm not shitting myself.
Now, generally, I would agree. A cease and desist letter doesn't mean anything except the sender wants you to stop.
You're not going to jail.
But if he did disclose information that was covered by the NDA, then he could be in trouble. Now, it would be a breach of contract claim. So it's not against the law to violate your NDA, but it does mean you can be sued civilly for breach of contract. And there's no doubt that he's causing Mr. Beast reputational harm. Whether that's warranted is up to you. But the NDA could also contain a non-disparagement clause. A non-disparagement clause prevents a signatory
I also, by the way, don't think that will do harm. He has such a young audience that isn't going to care about that, care about the intricacies of the sweepstakes. Those kids want to watch the videos because they're fun. I mean, we're a bunch of people unsubbing or something like that to any type of like consequence. I wouldn't think so. I'm sure he's powered through this stuff, right? Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know down below if he's actually taken some kind of hit that is measurable.
Disparaging the other party for a certain amount of time, even if the things that they say are true or non-confidential. This clause is meant to stop the parties from making public or private comments that could harm the reputation or business interests of the other party. Especially in a situation like this where the person can truthfully say that they were an employee for a limited amount of time to add authority to their claims. Now, disparagement is not the same as defamation. Defamation generally only applies when these statements are false. Disparagement just means saying something negative about the other person, even if it's 100% correct.
Being
so if
an a-hole.
NDA has a non-disparagement clause,
it's not
it's still in
illegal.
effect, he could be in a lot of trouble because he's been doing a lot of disparaging, even if you assume that everything he says is 100% true. Now, Dogpack redacted the name of the law firm in the cease and desist letter, only quoting a portion of the firm's website, and some have suggested that the cease and desist letters were from the law firm Quinn Emanuel. And the name
What's that say? What is that? Do you see the
website,
email?
And some have suggested that
Cease and desist orders that said Satan Lord of Darkness represents your former employer, Mr. Beast YouTube LLC. Satan Lord of Darkness. What the heck?
the cease and desist letters were from the law firm Quinn Emanuel. And the name of the firm, Quinn Emanuel, Urquhart and Sullivan, fits the amount of space in the cease and desist letter that Dogpack shared on Twitter. Now, if so, these are not lawyers you want to mess with. I personally never met a lawyer from Quinn who wasn't a huge asshole, often in a way that's counterproductive to their client. But still, they have a reputation for scorched
if you're going to be a defense lawyer like this for guys like that, like you have to be an a-hole. Like why they're not going to get a job at a firm like that, right? That's so funny. He just threw shade at another firm. That's so funny.
Often in a way that's counterproductive to their client, but still they have a reputation for scorched earth litigation. But on the other hand, with respect to the NDA, it seems like most of what Dogpack has disclosed was already in the public and is based on accounts from other people, not what he witnessed firsthand. He certainly used his status as an ex-employee to make it seem like he has inside knowledge, but from what I've seen, he seems to be largely relaying what other people are talking about rather than using his own firsthand knowledge. But without knowing the terms of the NDA, it's hard to say how much trouble Dogpack might be in. But on the other hand, it might not be a good look to sue a critic out of existence, another fellow YouTuber. Plus, it just creates more of a Streisand effect too.
All right, so he kind of talked. He mentioned this, but we really don't know much about illegal activity that Mr. Beast had done here without knowing what was in those contracts. That's one of the things I was definitely able to pull out of this. Right, if there was things in those contracts that were violated, then yeah, obviously he messed with. He broke the law, right? And then there's some other things that might just seem kind of like sleazy to make for better content, but nevertheless isn't like breaking the law. And also showing too about how unregulated some of the stuff is when it comes to just the content side of it. So having those videos out, does that even make it illegal? And then again, how different is the law going to be from just the video versus the actual like contest there? So again, looking at all this stuff, it just seems like you got to be upfront with, if you're doing sweepstakes contests, if you're upfront with it, it seems like that solves most of the problems, right? Most of the problems. When you start changing it and doing that, that's when you could get yourself in some hot water there. Now, it seems like we don't know exactly what's going to happen, if anything happens there. Like he said that's the law firm. He was attesting that law firm, I mean, they're gonna go scorched earth on this if it tries to actually go far. We'll see how far it goes. But anyway, yeah, if they're changing the rules, if they're saying things are random but giving it to specific people for content purposes or just for nepotism, that obviously is lame and is bad. But I wonder, like, is this gonna hurt Mr. Beast? I can't imagine. He seems like he's scandal proof, especially when the content is, young kids who just want to view the content and don't really care about the other stuff. It's just fun to watch. So, all right. Well, hopefully I don't ever get in trouble like that. I don't think I've ever broken the law with any of the giveaways or contests that I've done. It definitely doesn't seem like that. But I guess, we can learn from Mr. Beast. All right. Thanks for hanging out with me. We'll see you next time. Bye.